We are live. Are we live? I think we are. Excellent connection, supposedly. Let me know if we're good, guys. Let me know if we're good. Are we here? I think we are. Yes! Yes, we are live. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Oh, it feels like it's been so long. It has been so long. Hope you're good, everyone. Video check, audio check, very good, thank you. Yes, all good. I'm in a remote setup. I'm streaming from a hotel room right now, guys. Streaming from a hotel room, so I'm so happy everything is working for now. We're still yet to receive the data from F1, so yeah, once that comes through, we will hopefully, fingers crossed, have enough bit rate, enough download, upload speed, etc. So yeah, hotel Wi-Fi is never very good. But yes, welcome everyone. Good to see you back. It looks like I'm under a bridge. Oh. It's not quite a bridge, but yeah. Welcome everyone. It is sunshine in the background. Yeah, it's well, it's been sunny for the most part here in the UK. We've had a lot of nice weather, but yeah, the past few days have been very, very typical British summer, shall we say. But yeah, Poddy just couldn't make the last any of the practice sessions, guys, yesterday. I've now gone back to work, gone back to the full-time job that pays the bills. So yeah, paternity leave has come to an end, and I was required, my services were required at the day job yesterday, so I didn't have the opportunity to work from home and do the practice sessions. And then of course streaming this morning. I'm travelling here. Yeah, we've got a party to go to tonight, me and the missus. So yeah, we're on the road. But yes, nothing didn't stop me from setting this up and bringing qualifying to you though, guys, because it's been so long. It's been so long. But yeah, I haven't caught much of the practice sessions. I have tuned in, of course, to the highlights of the practice sessions, and it does seem, as typical as Zandvoort is, it's a tricky circuit to get the car dialed in. And yeah, the McLarens are supreme, aren't they? Absolutely supreme. You can barely hear me. Turn your sound up, Dan. Turn your sound up. Hang on. Yeah, no, can hear me absolutely fine. Maybe restart the stream. So yeah, but Jarvis, you gifted 5 members. Unbelievable. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. You're a top man. You're an absolutely top man. Will the alert come through for that? I have got a nice little alert that, yeah, hopefully comes through for that. So, yeah, nice little F1 car that comes through. The actual... hang on a second. The actual sounds, though, I have got turned off. But yeah, big thank you, guys. So, right. Let's get into the swing of things, shall we? Nothing wrong with my volume. Yeah, all good. Thank you, guys. Yeah, if there are any issues that do occur, I have got everything in front of me anyway in relation to telling me if the connection's incorrect. But yeah, we are. If there's any issues with like resolution and so forth, I am having to just run things in a bit lower quality than what I normally would like to, because of my situation here in the hotel. Hotel Wi-Fi is never very good, so especially when you're not staying in a 5-star hotel. But yeah, welcome all. Good to see you. Been very well for these 3 weeks. I hope everyone's enjoyed themselves. We went live a few times, but it was a very quiet summer break, wasn't it? The summer break was very quiet. They gave us content creators nothing to talk about over the 3 weeks. Very disappointing. Caddy waited until the day before we had the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend. So very disappointing, really. And that was kind of the worst kept secret in F1, wasn't it? We all knew what was going to be the lineup pretty much for Caddy. I was just waiting on that confirmation, which we've now got. But yes, Christina, all the way from the Netherlands. You're in the actual Netherlands. Lovely. Sorry to hear about work members. Appreciate it. Do quality and race though. Yeah, it is what it is. Is what it is. One day this will be a full-time career, guys. One day. That's the dream. That's the dream, and we are trying to hit 55,000 subs this weekend, so bit of a tall order, but if you can do it, every single subscriber brings me closer to ensuring that I never miss another F1 session in my life, so that I can bring every single watch-along to you. The background, yeah, we are in a remote setup this weekend. Tomorrow, I'd say today, I'll be back on the normal setup tomorrow, so that'll be fine. Back in the, everything will be back as it is, quality, etc. But today, yeah, we are in a hotel room. So, Ozone, thank you for the gifted, much appreciated. If you've been fortunate enough to get a gifted from Jarvis and Ozone just now, give him a W in the chat, guys. Thank you, much appreciated. The pit crew is ever expanding, so yes, thank you, guys. But not long to go until we have practice, less than half an hour. I do not have the countdown of the actual session timer because I'm trying to save as much data as I possibly can, hence why there's no background music either. So yeah, that is something that we are not having here this weekend, just to ensure that we have no interruptions to the data that will be filtering through to us shortly. Yesterday was a mess without me. It's do you know what it is, guys? Do you know, it is kind of nice, I'm not gonna lie to you. Every now and then if I do miss a session, you know, the comments are very kind that you do miss me. As they say, you don't know what you got until it's gone. So hopefully it makes me, hopefully it makes you appreciate me more. But no, thanks for tuning in as always, guys. But yes, let's have a chat about who do we expect to be on pole position. It looks like the track conditions are clear. It's not going to be raining as we have maybe been seen predicted by the weather reports. And well, unsurprisingly, I think it is comfortably, if it's dry conditions between the two McLarens, they are so much quicker than everyone else here. Understandably, similar really to the Hungaroring, unless there's a real switch up in the weather conditions and the wind direction in particular, which caught them out in qualifying Q3 at Hungary. I think we're going to see them just comfortably be ahead of everyone else. And I just saw actually a really good analysis of Ferrari in particular, who are struggling here this weekend. And well, why are the McLarens so much quicker than everyone else? Well, the main reason for that is because of that middle sector. Turns 8, 9 and 10, I saw an analysis of the data of Ferrari that they are losing 8 to 9 tenths or 7 to 8 tenths, something an unbelievable amount in those three corners alone. And that is because that is where the car requires compliance. If you get oversteer, understeer through there, it can get very breezy. You just lose so much time. And we know the McLarens have been absolutely supreme with their tyre management, how they get the temperatures in the tyres, and just their all-round efficiency with downforce and through the corners. That's where their advantage truly is. It's not their top speed. And yeah, they don't have to fear about lifting out a throttle or have any compliance issues with their cars heading through there. And it does seem like, from the images that I have seen, Lando does seem to have it a bit more, he is tidier through those particular corners than that of Oscar Piastri. Oscar's just looked a little bit twitchy through there, and you're only talking fractions, but that can be the difference between 2 tenths, a tenth or so, and we know how close qualifying has been. And it is a very flowing circuit, Zandvoort. Anyone who's raced it on the sim will know that as well. So I really like driving around it, and many of the drivers love racing around here as well, because you get into that flow, you get into that rhythm. And for some, if you struggle with that, then with those sort of tracks, then yeah, you're really going to be off the pace here, especially in a car that's not compliant to you. Murray, you've been in the USA for the summer, so finally able to watch these again. Good to be back. Yes, welcome. What happens when there is a crash like Stroll's? Can they fix the car overnight? Yes, they can, Gabriel. Yep, they can fix the car overnight, as long as it's suitable to be, and they can take penalties if they want, if they're over their allowances. So yeah, will we see a crash? Potentially. We have seen many drivers, even in just practice, go over the limit here, haven't we? Go into the gravel, crash, spin multiple times. We could potentially see that here in qualifying. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a red flag at all in this session. Which tyres are being used this weekend? We have the C2, C3 and C4. So we're a step softer than last year, Steve. I could tell that you didn't watch my preview video. Naughty, naughty. Yeah, no, Pirelli have brought a step softer this year. So that can play a factor as well, definitely into how these teams are coping with this track and why McLaren maybe are even quicker than everyone else. Because there's maybe not necessarily the degradation's the issue, but the tyre management is an issue here. And I'm not sure if it's the actual managing the tyre temperatures is the issue, or maybe more so getting the tyres up to temp. That's probably more so what they are potentially struggling with, hence why we've seen so many lockups. Traction control hidden, Pete. We do appreciate and we're thankful for your hard work. Thank you, Lee. Much appreciated. If Norris next gets a clean lap, I see him on pole. I think so. I predicted Lando to be on pole position at the start of the week in my preview video, primarily just because I think this is a track where he's always done relatively well at. He obviously won for the first time here last year, but it's always been one of his better tracks. And I think you look at the tracks where he has historically performed well at, he has had the better of Oscar Piastri. And of course, regardless of how he won Hungary, whatever your thoughts and opinions are on that, he most definitely will be buoyant off of the back of that win and closing that championship lead down to 9 points rather than it being extended. So, yeah, but we know qualifying, one small mistake can be the difference between you being on pole and being down in third or fourth. But I think with the advantage that the McLarens have, they can afford to have a couple of little wobbles, and I think they're comfortably first and second. There just doesn't seem to be any indication from what we've seen in practice that George Russell's going to be able to find more than half a second between him and the McLarens now. The Ferraris definitely don't look like it. Max also has played down his expectations as well. So, yeah, it's pretty much a straight shootout between the McLarens. But the order behind is very intriguing. And with potentially still rain tomorrow, anything can happen. And qualifying is still very important, as we know. You got a football game to watch at 3, Dan. Who are you watching at 3? What if Piastri gets pole but Max overtakes him in the first lap like in Imola? Well, Max needs to qualify well first, to be honest with you. We have got the pole up at the moment, and well, I put this up last night before we saw FP3 this morning, but Lando Norris, 50% of the votes at the moment is on the pole position for you guys. And then it's Oscar Piastri, understandably. Verstappen third, Alonso fourth. I put Alonso fourth because he was, what was he? He was like third, wasn't he? Or something in FP2 or FP1. So yeah, the Aston Martins, I do expect them to still have a good performance here this weekend because, as you mentioned, Zandvoort is still down. You still need a good downforce package here, and that's what Aston Martin do have. And this is the sort of circuit like they did at Hungary, where they're going to excel compared to the other teams. And I think they'll be able to utilise that if Lance Stroll can keep it out of the barriers. That is so. Ferrari has 2 different setups for both drivers. Lewis has higher downforce. Can't wait to see which setup is better for Scuderia. Yeah, I think Charles will be the quicker driver. Evidently, Lewis has had issues in every single practice session. He is not in tune with the car at all, and at this circuit in particular. So yeah, it's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough weekend for Lewis Hamilton, guys. I think a Q3 performance for Lewis. It sounds crazy, but a Q3 performance for Lewis is a good start really to his weekend. Not at home. No, I'm in a remote setup. I'm just, on the road at the moment. I'll be back home tomorrow. So, yes, thankfully, we have enough sufficient Wi-Fi from the hotel. Well, we're still waiting for the live data to come through. The session should be starting. The session will be starting on the hour mark. I don't have the countdown at the moment. So I did go live on the hour. Sorry, on the half hour. So, yeah, we've still got about 15 minutes until the qualifying gets back underway. Can I talk about FP3 this morning and if I think it will affect QUALI, Yasmin? So, yeah, I missed FP3. I was on the road. I did just catch up with the highlights on TV and I had a look at the timings. The McLarens, as they have been, as was expected, are comfortably the quickest. They're going to lock out the front row, I think. As I just touched on, they can make a mistake, I think, quite a big mistake probably, in qualifying, and they'd still lock out the front row. That's how big their advantage is right now. Everyone else is struggling, in particular turns 8, 9 and 10. in the middle sector of the track, as you can see here, this little section here. So you got the kink, which is turn 8, and then you're going into a hard braking zone of turn 9, and it's all about the load of the car, obviously. So it goes massively over to the left hand side of the car, then it switches back, then it switches back again through turns 10, and these teams are struggling with that, other than McLaren. So practice, yep, we didn't get a full performance run from every single team by the looks of it. So a lot of traffic was in play and involved. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one further down the field, well, behind the McLarens, to be honest with you. That's my personal opinion from what I've assessed from FP3. Was Lewis ever in tune with the Ferrari? That's a fair point, Miriam. He was in China, the sprint race. Then since then, no. I'm very good though, Sabina, much appreciated. How is fatherhood treating me? Very well. Very well, Mary. Yeah, the last 3 weeks have been quite tough, not going to lie to you. Sleep regression, lots of teeth coming through. We've had about 5-6 teeth come through in the last 3 weeks. So yeah, thankfully I wasn't back at work while I had those many sleepless nights. But yes, I've had many sleepless nights over the last 3 weeks, and it's only just started to get back to normal. So, but yeah, she's going for a stage of being wanting a lot more attention now, very fidgety. She just wants to get up and move about under her own steam, which she's not quite able to do yet. So, yeah. Risk of rain for qualifying is 10%, ladies and gentlemen. 10%. Anything can change, of course. Here we go. I think everything should be okay there. So let me know. I think everything should be in screen that needs to be on screen. We'll wait to see if that is the case. Hang on, let me see if I can see that's the case. Let me know. Give me the... Yeah, everything seems to be good. Happy days. There we go. That's all that we need for today is what you've got on screen. The usual setup, except from a couple of little things like the sub count and so forth. But yes, we are good. So not raining at the moment. Qualifying will be starting in just over 12 minutes time. Hey Alex, good to see you, mate. WRC broadcast is on a break, so thought you'd tune in. Good man, good man. Good to see you. Lewis's main focus should be to compete with his teammates. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Lewis's main focus should be just to... I mean, it's a tricky one. It is a very tricky one, isn't it? Like for Lewis, because how do you try and G yourself up between now and the end of the year with little upgrades coming? You know that the team have made the wrong decision in the development of the car, the direction of the car. He's probably having more fun, to be honest with you, and enjoying his time more so in the sim and developing the 2026 car than he is driving this and coming to these race weekends, I would suspect, because 2026 is a complete reset for everyone, as we know, but in particular for the likes of Lewis Hamilton. So, where have I been? Where have I been? I've just been, nowhere. At home. But today I'm not at home. I'm at a hotel, so that's why we are here right now, in this remote setup, and why there's a lack of music and some things. But no, we are still live regardless. Yeah, apologies I couldn't bring the practice sessions to you. Funny enough, they had to be really... It's always the way, isn't it? You miss a session and it's always action-packed. We had lots of spins. Those practice sessions would have been good to have covered, to be fair, because of how much happened. Oscar needs to bounce back this race, but put the mental pressure back on Lando. Yep, for sure. For definite. I mean, Lando, let's be honest, it's going to be probably a 1-2 between the two McLarens, unless something dramatic happens again that we don't foresee in relation to the wind direction. So keep an eye on that, guys. So that was a big factor last time around in Q3 in Hungary. And you can see the wind does pick up here at Zandvoort in the dunes in Holland. So you can see there the wind, 12.2 kilometers an hour at the moment. It's a southwesterly wind. So the wind speed is important, but the direction is just as, if not more important today, because if that changes direction, it changes the complete dynamic in relation to how these teams can perform, as we saw in Hungary. So teams that necessarily weren't quick become quick, and the vice versa as well. So it could really put a spanner in the works. So yeah, keep an eye out on that. Currently a southwesterly wind at 12.2 kilometers an hour. We have seen much quicker at other circuits, but the wind direction is the important one that you're looking for there. Where will I do the live stream? I'll be doing, well, from here right now, but tomorrow the race, I'll be back at my normal setup. So for those of you that don't like change, I will be back at the normal setup tomorrow, the usual background. And yeah, we'll have the fast internet as well. You really appreciate fast internet when you go to other places. Any predictions for Stroll for qualifying? He has potential in that Aston Martin to get into Q3. But will he? I don't know. But he should really get that Aston Martin into Q3, I think. Minimum Q2, but he should be pushing for Q3 because I think Alonso will. I think they've got a car that can score points here this weekend. No problem, folk. Good to see you all. Did I bring the RTX 80 to the hotel with me? Not quite. No, my laptop that I've got here, I've got a gaming laptop. What does it actually have in it? I think it's got a 3060 in it. Or has it got a 4060? I can't remember what I've got in it. Got in this one, to be honest with you. But yeah, it is a gaming laptop to make sure that I've got enough processing power. What a long weekend. I know. Where are the overtakings on this circuit, Felix? Yes, so this track in particular. So where do you overtake? Well, you overtake the majority of times down into turn 1. So the DRS here, because you've got the banking, and this is why they introduced it, because you've got the banking that starts from turn 13 all the way into the start-finish straight, they're able to apply the DRS halfway between turns 13 and 14. So actually on the corner, because they've got so much downforce in these cars, the DRS, it's safe to open it to do so. So unlike Hungary, where you had a couple of slow rear traction dominated corners, dependent corners, and the dirty air is so prevalent, here you're running generally larger rear wings, more downforce dependent packages, which means that the DRS is more effective. So you do see, even while they'll lose a bit of time out of turns 11 and turn 12, the chicane there with the dirty air, they will be able to make overtakes. I don't know what the gap will be, but they'll be able to make more overtakes here than what they were at the Hungaroring because of the efficiency of the DRS, because it's longer, and because the DRS, obviously flap as well, is much larger than what it is at other circuits and at Hungary. So we can see overtakes sometimes between into turn 3 if drivers go side by side through turn 1. We do see that as well, and we do sometimes see lunges down into turn 9. There is a second DRS zone from the exit of turn 10, the middle straight down into turn 11, into that chicane. But primarily, we don't see too many overtakes there. The only way we're going to see probably an overtake there is if someone makes a large error through turn 10. We could see more this year, maybe. I'm quietly positive with what I've seen in practice, with teams really struggling through that section of turn 9 and turn 10. So yeah, we could see some more overtakes there. Those who have maybe got fresher tyres. The introduction, of course, of the softer range, one step softer than last year, is to try and entice more two-stop strategies. There's also, and we'll run through this tomorrow, of course. Join us an hour before the race begins for our pre-race show. The pit speed limit has been increased 20 kilometers an hour, guys. So that means you can obviously go quicker through the pit lane, which reduces the amount of time you are spent in the pit lane here at Zandvoort, which isn't a long pit lane anyway. So that's also going to entice. It has been spoken about at other circuits, increasing the speed through the pit lane, especially those that are have much longer pit lane straights. And that means that, yes, they spend less time in the pit lane, which entices them to do two stops. But we have seen two stops not really work that much because of how prevalent the dirty air is. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm more positive. I'm more hopeful for this race this weekend than I was last year, heading into Zandvoort. So But yes, not long to go, guys. Not long to go. We've got just 5 minutes until it begins. Just over 5 minutes until qualifying begins. Apologies, do not have the timer on screen at the moment. The countdown timer, as you can see. I'm not at my usual setup. We are on hotel Wi-Fi at the moment. But yes, welcome everyone for tuning in as it currently stands. What do I think about the Bottas and Perez in Cadillac? Will it be 11? It is 11 teams next year, Caprice. Yep. As many have summarized already. It's a smart decision for Cadillac. While maybe many think it's uninspiring and quite boring, at the end of the day, they are a brand new team that wants to compete. And with the regulations potentially even altering after just 3 years, because that's when Cadillac are going to be bringing, or GM Motors is going to be bringing their own engine in 2029. So that gives a bit of a key indicator that maybe the engine, the regulations are going to be changing again in 2029, because they were presumed to be coming in a year earlier than that. They've got two very experienced drivers from arguably the two most dominant teams, two of the most dominant teams in F1 history, especially in recent history. Multiple race wins between them, and they'll be able to give the proper feedback and help develop that car and that team in the right direction. Whereas a younger driver from F2 isn't going to be able to do that. It's smart to utilize those two drivers for maybe those 3 years, solidify themselves as a solid F1 team, and then they can take a bit more of a gamble on their driver lineup and maybe be a bit more ambitious. So yeah, it's smart of them. I'm not sure they've announced who their reserve driver was. Was it Mick Schumacher was their reserve driver? But I'm sure that they'll have an idea of maybe hiring Zach Crawford or whoever maybe their reserve driver is someone that they'll probably be eyeing to maybe take a step up once one of those two decides to step away from the sport. But here we go, guys. Here we go. Not long to go. I'm watching my TV coverage, and the TV graphics for the session have begun. We are moments away from Q1 getting underway. Fingers crossed that all the data here works absolutely swimmingly well for us. And yeah, we have a great qualifying in store for us. Qualifying this year has been absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be super close between the two McLarens. But that wind direction, yeah, it did swap to south a moment ago. It's still southwest, gone back to southwest now. So yeah, let's see if any teams will be able to gain from their performance, from what they've seen in practice. Of course, it's a track where it is still difficult to overtake. We know in this current era of F1 that track position is key, and well, we may see some teams maybe gamble on that one lap pace setup, rather sacrificing the race setup, shall we say, to ensure that they've got track position. But thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, welcome back. Hope you are well. Yes, if you're just tuning in, we are on a remote setup. I'm streaming from a hotel today, but we'll be back at the normal setup tomorrow. So I'm going to end the poll as it currently stands, and well, with over 750 votes, it is Lando Norris with the majority of the vote when it comes through. And why is it not? There we go. 49% Oscar. I think Lando Norris is going to be on pole position. Oscar Piastri, 24% of you. Verstappen, 16%. And I did put cheekily Fernando Alonso there because I did not know who was a viable fourth option, to be honest with you. For now, when I put this poll up, Fernando Alonso had come third in FP2 or whichever practice session it was. So, but I'm looking at the TV coverage right now. The weather conditions at Zandvoort couldn't be better. There is a 10% chance of rain, as you can see at the top right-hand side of your screen there from the race control messages, but it is sunny as you like out there at the moment. Blue skies, sun is out. Everyone is loving themselves in the crowds at the moment. So yes, it does look like we're going to have a dry qualifying unless we do get some dramatic intermittent weather fly through the dunes at Zandvoort. But not long to go, guys, until Q1 gets underway here. Less than a minute, I think it is. We're back. F1 summer withdrawal was so hard to go through. I know. Do you know, I said this before, just before qualifying gets underway. How boring was those 3 weeks? Because they gave us nothing to talk about. There was no rumours. There was no news. I think it's been the quietest summer break I can ever remember in F1. It was dull. And as a content creator, it was disheartening. I wanted some escapism. I wanted something to talk about. And I was just like, nothing. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Cadillac could have at least given us something in the middle of the summer. But no, they decided to wait until 2 days or a couple of days before this weekend. So yeah, but anywho, we are back. We're back into the full swing of things. 10 races remaining, guys. 9 after this one. This is round 15. 10 races remaining. Only 9 points separating at the moment. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. And well, who will be leading at the end of this weekend? We do suspect that they will be comfortably first and second here, as they have showcased supreme performance. As we have green light, pit exit is open, ladies and gentlemen. Q1 is underway, and well, we do have drivers making their way out on track. And well, the first driver, the home track of Max Verstappen. I thought it was Max heading out there first. It's not. It's Yuki Tsunoda. Apologies. My eyesight was betraying me there. I thought that was the Red Bull of Max Verstappen making his way out onto the track early and giving something for those home fans to cheer about, because I've got a funny feeling, guys, that for Max Verstappen, if you're a Max Verstappen fan, it could be a tough weekend again for him at his home circuit, like it was back in Hungary. A new front wing for Red Bull here this weekend. One of the few updates that we have seen from teams. We're only going to see small updates now between now and the end of the season, but it doesn't look like it has solved their issues at the moment, and particularly at a circuit like here in the middle sector in particular, which Yuki is making his way through now. They are seeing a repeat of the issues that they had in Hungary, but it's whether or not are they worse off than the other teams, or are they better? But yes, Yuki Tsunoda will be the first driver to cross the start-finish line. A very nice circuit, Zandvoort. Maybe not the best for racing, but the drivers love it round here. Alex Albon in a recent video said that it's like a go-kart track. You're driving. The F1 cars do not belong at this circuit, he said. He goes, it's maybe not great to race on, but it's absolutely brilliant from a driver's perspective to drive on, and that's why he loves it so much. And speaking from racing it in the sim as well, it has a lovely rhythm to it. So Yuki makes his way down the start-finish straight. DRS is activated, as you can see there, as he makes his way across the start-finish line. And thankfully, the stream here is working absolutely brilliantly. So hotel Wi-Fi is doing very good. Dan, no, not my glasses. Don't need glasses just yet. But Yuki makes his way through turn 3, through the banking of turn 3. We've seen many drivers spin through there. Lance Stroll has already crashed through turn 3 this weekend, as we saw yesterday, bringing out the red flag for him. As he just gets overtaken by Yuki as he makes his way down the fast downhill right-hander of turn 7 into the kink of turn 8. And it's a 24.153 for Yuki Tsunoda in that first sector. No idea how quick that potentially is, as I have been removed from looking at the individual sector times this weekend in the practice sessions. But Yuki now makes his way through that difficult turn 10, as we've seen drivers really struggle and lose a lot of time through turn 9 and turn 10. Makes his way down into turn 11. And then, of course, it's all about the exit, ensuring that you don't be too greedy on the exit there on the throttle. Very easy to clip the wall or dip a wheel in the gravel. But he has done nicely here, Yuki. It's going to be a banker on the board for him. Let's see how he fares as he comes across the finish line. And it is a 1:10.661. And well, I do know that that's not particularly quick, as Lewis Hamilton starts his lap, as Esteban Ocon does a 1:11.183, half a second behind Yuki Tsunoda. It's not been a particularly good weekend for Esteban Ocon. The Haas, we don't expect them really to be too strong here. Their downforce package isn't necessarily the best, as Pierre Gasly goes into P2, 3 temps there, separating him and Yuki Tsunoda. Colapinto, 4 temps. They've been very slow here this weekend, but we know that Gasly does dig out good performances when it comes to qualifying. Can he do the same here again this weekend? As the fastest first sector on the board there for Lewis Hamilton, purple for him, as Ollie Behrman went to the top of the timing screens there with a 1:10.2. Yuki Tsunoda, 4 temps back now. Hulkenberg slots into P3, 6 temps back. Let's see how Charles Leclerc fares, as Hamilton seems to have hooked up a decent first banker lap here, it seems, as Charles Leclerc goes 3.5 temps behind Haas. Unbelievable there for Charles Leclerc. We know that the Ferraris have struggled here this weekend. Let's see how Lewis Hamilton fares. Hopefully he's had a clean last sector and will be able to secure himself a good banker lap here and go to the top of the timing screens, but only he does indeed, as there's a yellow flag as Lance Stroll is off, ladies and gentlemen. Lance Stroll is off. Is it an issue with himself? Is that an error, as I just mentioned? Was he on a lap there and he has dipped a tyre into the gravel, just as I said these drivers need to be sure of? Or has he got a mechanical issue that maybe is a carryover from that crash that he had yesterday? Just waiting to see the TV coverage. It's a little bit behind, but Lance Stroll is back into the pit lane. And, well, does he have damage or has he flat spotted his tyres? I think he was. He was on a push lap there. So it's a definite driver error for Lance Stroll or maybe a mechanical issue. We're just waiting for the TV coverage to catch up. But at the moment, it is Lewis Hamilton on your timing screens there that is at the top with a 1:10.2. But we know that is considerably way off than what we've seen here this weekend. We've seen the 108s here this weekend from the McLarens, but we know no one is on the pace of the McLarens. But Lance Stroll did indeed go into the barriers quite heavily there. What has he done there? There is damage. There is body parts. There is a body part that flew off of his car that I'm not sure if it's come from the front or the rear of the car. But it's a definite crash. So yes, he has no front right rear. He has lost his front wing, basically, guys. Half of his front wing is missing. It is a crash. It is a driver error for Lance Stroll. But I'm waiting to see exactly how it has occurred because he was some way off the gravel there at the chicane. So here we go. An onboard of Lance Stroll. He's going through the exit of turn. What has he done there? No, it's not even the chicane. He's had an... Oh, my goodness, you absolute numpty. Oh, you numpty. Lance Stroll has just, in a straight line, driven onto the grass and gone into a spin at turn 13. He is driving, ladies and gentlemen. Good exit through turn 12. He is driving down here. And to open up the corner through turn 13, he has put both of his left tyres onto the grass and gone straight through into the barriers. Hang on. Absolute numpty. That's the most polite. That's the most polite way that I can describe him there, guys. Because I thought that maybe it was an error through the chicane, which would be very easy to do as Max Verstappen. In all of that, as I was watching Lance Stroll's replay of his issue, and is very fortunate to get away with just damage to the front wing, although he has done significant damage to that car already this weekend. I'm not sure if they've got enough front wings left at Aston Martin. Verstappen did go to the top of the timing screens there with a 109.754, the only time that we've seen thus far in the 109s, as George Russell starts his flying lap, and there's quite a bit of traffic coming out of the pit lane as it currently stands. Kimi Antonelli, he has struggled here this weekend to dial that Mercedes in. He's had a couple of trips to the gravel, hasn't he, in the practice sessions, so we'll see how he fares. Lance Stroll yet to come out of the pit lane. We will see if he is going to extend his record of the most exits in Q1. But George Russell, let's keep an eye on him, shall we? He's green in the first sector, 24.101. That's about on par with what we saw from the Ferrari. We have the two McLarens out there now, Norris and Piastri on their laps. I fully expect to see purples being set by those two drivers as they make their way up to the top of turn 7 there. Lando Norris, it's a 23.6. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Lando Norris has just gone half a second quicker than George Russell in the first sector. That is unbelievable there from Lando Norris, and Piastri not too far behind, a 23.787, about a tenth back, but I think he got caught up by traffic. But we know it's all about obviously just securing your position to get through Q1 and potentially do a good enough of a lap on your first attempt that you don't have to use an extra set of soft tyres when it comes to the later qualifying sessions. So that you've got a brand new set available. Interestingly, not the fastest middle sector there for Lando Norris, and Antonelli is actually quicker in that middle sector. He goes ahead of his teammate there. But Piastri not as quick either, but a fastest last sector there from Lando Norris. Does a 109.469, just under 3 tenths quicker than that of Max Verstappen, and his teammate well, he sets a fastest last sector as well to take it away from his teammate, but he was pretty much nearly a tenth slower in the first and second sector, so a tenth and a half back from his teammate there, but a solid couple of laps there from the McLarens that will comfortably get them through. Of course, Zandvoort is a tight circuit here. Traffic is a factor. So these drivers need to be aware and looking in their mirrors. There's already been a number of instances, of course, in practice where drivers have had some big near misses, to be fair. I'm surprised we haven't seen a big collision yet here this weekend. But at the moment, drivers seem to be keeping out of the way of one another. But if you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri are at the top of the timing screens here in Q1 with 8.5 minutes remaining. Max Verstappen is third. Fernando Alonso is fourth. Antonelli fifth. And Russell sixth. Carlos Sainz has gone 11th there. Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, you can see how poor their lap times are really in comparison to the top three at the moment, and even that of Fernando Alonso as Alex Albon goes into P12 there. We have had Lance Stroll, who is in the pit lane at the moment. He has hit the barriers. He dipped his wheels into the grass while finishing his lap on the entry to turn 13. A complete driver error, and yes, that sent him into a spin rearwards into the barrier, and well, he went into a spin and, yes, actually lost a significant part of his front wing, which is why he is in the pit lane right now, and we'll get to see if he's going to have an opportunity and if Aston Martin have enough front wings remaining after his big crash yesterday for him to have an attempt in qualifying. We will see. Raven, welcome to the Pit Crew Elite. Much appreciated for the resub. Thank you everyone. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please, it'd be much appreciated. If you can hit that like button, it's been good to be back. Apologies, I have missed the practice sessions here this weekend. I'm back to work, unfortunately, after some parental leave, and yes, my services were required on site. It's what still pays the bills, but every single like, every single subscriber brings me closer to making this full-time for you and ensuring I never miss another F1 session again. So yes, big thank you guys. We'll be back on the rig tomorrow on the usual setup. We're on a remote setup at the moment as I am in a hotel room traveling, but Lewis Hamilton back on track. We'll keep an eye on him as Charles Leclerc has only just gone 14th fastest and is at risk of going out in Q1 here. He is only currently 0.04 of a second quicker than that of Bortoletto in P16 in the drop zone. Lewis Hamilton is making his way down the start-finish straight, and I think Lewis, who was green in the first and second sector, has backed out of that lap. So maybe realising he overall wasn't improving and it's now a good time to come in and pit so that he can put a brand new fresh set of softs on. That might be what their intention is there. But yes, Charles Leclerc at the moment, he did a second push lap on that used set of tyres and it wasn't good enough to improve. They're going to have to stick a fresh set of boots on, the two Ferraris, because they are most definitely at risk here. At the moment, it's currently Lance Stroll in P20, Esteban Ocon in 19th, Colapinto 18th, Yuki Tsunoda is in 17th, Bortoletto is in 16th, but it is very tight. Alex Albon, Bortoletto is currently only in the drop zone by 0.02 of a second as Alex Albon there is in P15. Charles Leclerc is 0.04 of a second away from being in the drop zone himself, and Carlos Sainz isn't much further either. So yes, there's lots of room for improvement here. And well, the wind actually has increased quite dramatically. It's nearly 17 kilometers an hour at the moment. That's really going to unsettle some of these teams. But yes, new sets of tyres is required here. I do think really Norris and Piastri, they're comfortable. I don't suspect that they are going to, I mean, no one in the drop zone there is going to improve by over a second. So I think Norris and Piastri probably won't go back out there. Verstappen, maybe not. But I suspect really that Alonso up to Norris, the top four, are probably safe. Anyone who's done a sub 1:10 second lap time, I think is fine, to be honest with you. Why did Lewis box? Probably because he maybe wasn't improving. Maybe there was an error in turn in the last sector. Yeah, maybe there was an error in the last sector. He was going green in the first and second. Not entirely sure what happened. Waiting for a TV replay maybe to showcase that, or maybe it was a strategic decision. So I'm watching Lewis now. Ooh, no, Lewis did bail out because he made an error in the chicane. So yes, he took Yeah, he went deep into the chicane. So on the actual braking into the corner, he just went too deep. And yeah, he lost a significant amount of time through that chicane. So that's why he bowed out of that lap. But okay, interesting. The McLarens are back out there, but they're on the same set of tyres. So they aren't wasting a brand new set of tyres. So they're going out there just to maybe get into the groove of things, maybe gather some more data and just secure their position out there, as they can probably improve, maybe the only team that can improve on a used set of tyres. Where am I at, Dark God? I'm just at a hotel. I've got my friend's 30th this evening, so yeah, I'm going to that this evening with the missus, so we're on the road at the moment, but still, nothing gets in the way of F1, if I can help it, of course. Currently looking to support a new team. If Ferrari go in Q1, you can't take it anymore. No, you won't. You'll still support them. Of course you will. Of course you will. Do I think any team secretly worked in the summer break? Secretly worked? I think they're still allowed to work. I don't think there's a mandatory shutdown of the factory at all. No, it's just you can still work within the summer break. It just means that they're able to. Yeah, I don't really know how it works, to be perfectly honest with you. So McLaren probably thinking that they're going to be a lot of track evolution if they're out again. Yeah, most probably. Yeah, most probably. Right, so thank you everyone for tuning in, and welcome. Good to see you all, as always. Nearly 3,000 of you here. It just does make me appreciate you all and appreciate what a great community we have here. As streaming from a hotel room to get this many viewers is absolutely brilliant, and apologies I've missed the practice sessions, but we're here of course for qualifying heading into the closing stages of Q1. At the moment it's currently Bortoleto, Tsunoda, Colapinto, Ocon and Lance Stroll who are in the bottom 5. We'll keep an eye on Norris and Piastri though, who are on a used set of tyres. Are they improving? Norris hasn't improved. Piastri has improved in that first sector, but will he throughout the second and last sector? Of course, they're on a used set of tyres. So no, Lando hasn't been able to improve, but he's comfortably going to be through, as Piastri has improved. He's gone quickest in that middle sector, Oscar Piastri, on a used set of tyres. Just shows how good the McLarens are on their tyres at the moment, that they're still able to improve on a second push lap. The only team that are able to do so, pretty much, as Verstappen has gone quicker as well in that first sector on a used set of tyres, as Piastri knocked his teammate off the top of the timing screens there. But that's not really where we are watching. We want to watch the rest of this session, and it does seem like Lance Stroll is out of this session after crashing into the barriers and losing his front wing in his first push lap heading into turn 13. So Lance Stroll is going to be out and be starting dead last tomorrow, if there are no penalties, of course, from those maybe taking more parts. As Verstappen crosses the line and does improve, but it's not good enough to beat George Russell, who improved on a brand new set of tyres. Let's keep an eye on the Ferraris though, shall we? Because they are at risk for sure, as Lewis Hamilton is starting his lap, as Antonelli moves himself up into P5. The Ferraris, particularly Charles Leclerc, is at risk. Hamilton will cross the line first, with Charles Leclerc coming second. We can see Alex Albon there just above the drop zone at the moment, as Hadjar moves up into P7. Gasly doing wonderful work at the moment, as we mentioned. Very slow when it comes to race pace and always at the bottom of the practice sessions, but Gasly just knows how to get a good single lap out of that Alpine, it seems. As Sainz, great improvement there from him. He moves up into P8 there and pushes Charles Leclerc down into P... Well, no, Charles Leclerc is still in P14, apologies, as Albon moves up into P5. So there is improvement out there at this late stage in this session. 30 seconds remaining. This is it for a lot of the drivers, as Colapinto crosses the start-finish line to start his lap. We'll keep an eye on the Ferraris, as Lewis Hamilton has gone slower in the first sector, but he's gone green in the second. Charles Leclerc has gone quicker in the first sector as well. There's lots of green sectors out there, but how quick are these sectors? We will see. Nico Hulkenberg coming across the line, and now to start his lap, he just gets there as Lewis Hamilton comes around the last corner. He is potentially at risk here of a Q1 exit. Can he improve? He can. He moves up into P8 and solidifies his position into Q2. How about Charles Leclerc? Maybe getting a cheeky toe from Verstappen. He slots in a 4,000th of a second behind his teammate there, P8 and P9. Bortoleto moves up into P13. And it's currently Lawson who is at risk. Bearman, Sonoda, Colapinto, Ocon. But there are green sectors from all of those drivers there, barring Ollie Bearman, who unfortunately does look like he is going to be the second driver out in Q1, as Lance Stroll is a confirmation of that. As Lawson has just gone up into P5. What a lap from Liam Lawson there in the closing stages of Q1. Esteban Ocon, it's a double Q1 elimination for the Haas drivers and the Haas team. Colapinto is up into P15, but Nico Hulkenberg and Yuki Tsunoda are still out there on track. Can Yuki get himself out of Q1? He can. Colapinto now drops into the drop zone. Is it going to be a double stake elimination? Well, can Hulkenberg push his teammate? He hasn't out-qualified Bortoleto for some time, and he's still not out-qualified Gabriel Bortoleto for some time. How many times has Gabriel Bortoleto been able to sneak his way through Q1 as he gets through in P15 in Q1? We have lost Colapinto, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Ollie Bearman and Lance Stroll in Q1 there. But Bortoleto, once again, skin of his teeth, gets through to Q1. Through to Q2, out of Q1. And, well, we have seen him do that multiple times this year and then go on and continue to get into Q3. Could we see a repeat of that? Of course, arguably the most informed rookie at the moment. He ended the season up to the summer break very, very highly. And, well, he's looking to carry on that form. He's one of those drivers who would have been very upset to see the summer break recently. He wanted to keep up with that form and that rhythm, and well, he's just out-qualified Nico Hulkenberg again. Hulkenberg on a bit poor run of form when it comes to qualifying, but we do know that he picks up the pace and does still get those results in the race. But yes, the Haas is struggling there. We just don't know which sort of Haas is going to turn up, do we? To be honest with you, Lance Stroll, we know with that crash in turn 13, losing that front wing means that he was not able to go again. Maybe there was more significant damage to that car as well, which meant that they ensured that he was not going to participate for the remainder of this qualifying session. Colapinto nearly got through, but with Pierre Gasly up into P8, Pierre Gasly 2 tenths quicker than that of his teammate, gets through again into Q2, doing a wonderful job in that Alpine. But Hamilton and Leclerc, we know Ferrari have got their struggles, P9 and P10 for them. Alonso, I don't think... Alonso did do a second lap, I think. I'm not sure he did. I think he bowed out of that lap initially, knowing that he was going to be safe. So, yes, that is what has happened there. So, yes, that is who we have lost in Q1, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are well. Thoughts on Yuki keeping his seat next year, Luca? Unfortunately for Yuki, I do think that he will not be in F1 next season. Unless Honda throw a shed load of cash at Red Bull. We already know that they're paying $20 million for his services there. I don't think that's going to happen with, of course, the Honda partnership coming to an end now. It's going to be Ford. I don't think Ford would be too appreciative of another engine manufacturer paying for one of their drivers to be in that seat. And I think really he's probably going to head over to, because of the Honda connection, he's probably going to head over to Aston Martin and be their reserve driver. So he was doing it, but his second lap was consistently slower. Well, Alonso, fair enough. Less than a second covering the top 19. Yeah, it's very close. Very, very close, of course. And, I mean, a great lap by Liam Lawson there. He's another driver who's on form at the moment. He put in a lap there that's 2 tenths quicker than his teammate. Of course, though, dirty air, still a massive factor at this circuit, even with drivers going offline. They're still going at a significant speed to throw off enough dirty air that they'll lose traction. So getting a clean lap and getting some clean air can make all the difference, especially through that middle sector, which we said is so important for particularly turns 8, 9 and 10. If you get those three corners with clean air, with no one in front of you, you can gain so much time. It's so important. But yes, that is what we've got at the moment. Is Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bearman and Stroll confirmation there of going out in Q1. Bortoleto just gets through again. Where can he qualify? Can he maximise that opportunity he has just gained himself? Of course, all on merit still. There was no luck in that. He has got through. We know the margins are very small in F1, especially qualifying these days. Too close for signs. Williams hold up in pit and always put pressure on drivers having time for one last perfect lap. Hope Q2 is better for both. Yeah, I mean, they did seem to be out there quite late, didn't they? I mean, Hulkenberg didn't make use of the track evolution. I don't think there's much track evolution here. I think it's more so about clean air and whether or not you go out at the right time and the wind drops in speed. As I'm watching the replay of Lewis Hamilton, what happened with Lewis Hamilton? Went for the last corner and he got held up by Fernando Alonso. What's he saying there? Oh, he said traffic turn 1 or something. So yeah, lots of drivers complaining about traffic, as I just touched on. Very, very influential here, the dirty air at this circuit at Zandvoort. So yeah, drivers will go quicker, as we always see them do in Q2 and Q3, as the track becomes a lot less busy. So why am I on another angle of cam? That's because I am at a hotel, as you can see. It's not my usual background, guys. You think Lewis wants to go back to Mercedes? No, he doesn't want to go back to Mercedes. He wants to. I mean, why would you want to go back there when they didn't want to keep you in the first place? So you still have hope for Ferrari. I don't. I generally believe that a Q3 performance for both the Ferraris is a good performance with where that car is at the moment. Charles Leclerc summed up his Friday yesterday as the worst Friday in his F1 career. That is how difficult it was for him. I heard him say on a highlights video or something, or maybe it was a clip on Twitter, he asked for 10 clicks of front wing. 10 clicks. Not just a couple, 10 clicks. So yeah, significant issues with that Ferrari, as we already knew from Hungary. So yes, and Ferrari did come out and say Charles had no issues with his car. Like, he had no damage to his car. So pretty much confirming what we all knew, that they had to make in-car changes to ensure that, yeah, they avoided the plank wearing a disqualification. But anyway, here we go. Saying the track evolution might be more influential today since the rain last night washed off the rubber, so we'll see a lot of changes today. I don't know. I don't think... it could be the case. It could be. Maybe. I don't think so much, to be honest with you. I think there's more elements that are more key to than necessarily the track evolution. I think it's about the actual conditions, the wind conditions, and getting a clean lapping is more influential than what the track evolution is, to be honest with you. But that's not to say that it won't play a role. It will do, mate, but just not as large of a role as what we see at other circuits. But the Ferraris out there first. They want clean air, as we just mentioned, and let's see how this plays out for them. Is this a great strategy call by Ferrari? Yes, I said it, guys. Is this a great strategy call by Ferrari, or is it typical Ferrari? We will see, but as we just have touched on, clean air is very important here at this circuit. But guys, if you are enjoying this stream, please hit that like button. Much appreciated. Over 3,000 of you in the stream right now. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes, shall we? And of course, as always, hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated. But let's keep an eye on Charles Leclerc, shall we? As he heads down into turn 1 there, needs to be ensuring that he doesn't lock up that front right. Very easy to do so. And then he makes his way through the very quick right-hander of turn 2, where we saw Lewis Hamilton go into a 360 on Friday. Then into the banking of turn 3. A very difficult corner for these F1 cars, because there's not really a flat surface there. There is no point really through turn 3 where all 4 tyres have contact with the track. They are bobbing up and down at least a little bit. And that's what makes it difficult for these drivers to commit and get that level of grip. But we can see Charles there around half a tenth quicker than that of Lewis Hamilton in the first sector, as Charles makes his way through turns 8, 9 and 10. 3 corners where the Ferrari has been losing 6 to 7 tenths over that of the McLaren. They are so much struggling through those section of corners, as Charles makes his way down into turn 13. Only a couple of corners left for him. Really, one corner, which is turn 13, as it is full flat out for him through turn 14. And well, Lewis Hamilton, he lost a bit of time in the first sector to his teammate, but he's regained that fully and some in the second, as Charles Leclerc does a 1:10.0. It's not even a sub 1:10 for Charles Leclerc on this first run. Is it a sub 1:10 for Lewis Hamilton? Can he get into the 1:09s? No, what happened there for Lewis in the last sector? Has he had an issue again in that middle sector, in that chicane? I think that chicane is causing Lewis a bit of problems at the moment, but 110s we know are not good enough. They need to be in the 109s. Oliver Webb, summer and winter shutdowns for F1. You are not allowed to work on the cars or car parts during shutdown unless you have permission from the FIA. You are allowed to make factory improvements though. Fair enough. Thank you for the clarification. I want to ask, does lockups come from normal braking at corners? Like, are you gambling that your tyres lock up in turns? There are a number of reasons. It can be because you've applied too much brake pressure. It can be because you're applying the normal brake pressure, but the tyres aren't up to temperature. So that level of brake pressure isn't suitable for the condition that the tyre is in. Same thing if there's too much degradation on the tyre as well and it doesn't have that level of grip. It can be due to wind conditions as well, you braking too late because you've got a tailwind, or it can be a case of the tyre lifts off the floor as well because of bumps, you end up... Oh, there's a fox on the track at as Charles Leclerc was coming through turn 10, there was a fox on the track. Not sure if he saw that, and maybe it put him off, which is why he lost a little bit of time in the middle sector. Excuses for Ferrari, maybe, and Charles Leclerc. But yeah, there's numerous reasons, really, as to why a lockup can occur. Lewis on pole. Lewis isn't on pole. It's Charles Leclerc on pole at the moment. Who do I think Ferrari will focus on if they develop a car dominant like McLaren next year? I think they'll focus on both of them, to be honest with you. I don't think they'll put focus on either or. They'll treat it similar to McLaren with two number one drivers. Whether that's the right decision or not that they have prioritised other drivers in the past, of course, number one drivers. But let's stay on board with Max Verstappen, shall we? As he is currently on a push lap here on a brand new set of tyres. Apologies, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being a little bit too harsh on Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton because they were on a set of used tyres. So I take back a little bit of criticism from them. I missed that there. Missed that little bit of important information. So understandable then that they didn't get into the 109s. As Max Verstappen on a brand new fresh set of tyres, you can see how important the level of grip required is around here. He's just done a 23.599 in that first sector. That is a good couple of attempts quicker than that of George Russell. George Russell has gone quickest in the middle sector until Max Verstappen just stole it away from him. So there is improvements to be had from Ferrari guys on a fresh set of tyres now, as you can see them exiting the pit lane as Carlos Sainz makes his way through turn one to start his flying lap. But Max Verstappen is going to be, no doubt, taking the top spot here with George Russell, just doing a 109.6 on a set of used tyres, and Max Verstappen does a 109.1. So what were the conditions of those Ferrari tyres? I don't know, but that's a pretty good lap there from George Russell on a set of used tyres, as Kimi Antonelli on a fresh set of tyres only goes a couple of hundredths quicker than that of his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. A good lap there from Yuki Tsunoda, by the way, guys. Half a second back from Max Verstappen with a 109.6 there. So much better lap there from Yuki. Isaac Hadjar is starting his lap as well. Liam Lawson, though, he's on form at the moment as Lando Norris has gone purple in the first sector. A 23.474 from him. He's on a brand new set of tyres, as is Oscar Piastri as well. He is about to start his flying lap. But not a good lap there from Gasly on a new set of tyres. But Liam Lawson, not his best lap, really, but still a good lap. He's only a 10th behind that of George Russell. He's ahead of Carlos Sainz, who slots into P6 at the moment. But Lando Norris makes his way through the middle chicane. Let's see how he fares. Is he going to go considerably quicker than that of Max Verstappen? It's not a purple middle sector for him, though. Max has currently gone quicker in that middle sector than that of Lando Norris in the McLaren. Oscar Piastri will be making his way through the first sector line as well, as he goes purple in the last sector, Norris, and he does the first sub 109 lap time we have seen in qualifying today. A 108.874 for Lando Norris, 2.5 tenths quicker than that of Max Verstappen. Oscar Piastri is over a tenth slower in the first sector compared to his teammate, but we do know he will have enough in the tank to get that car, no doubt, just behind his teammate and lock out the front two. As wow, great lap from Isaac Hadjar, He's gone quicker than Antonelli and Yuki Tsunoda. A great lap there from him. As Oscar Piastri goes purple in the middle sector. So maybe a bit off the pace in the first sector, but he has that grip in the middle sector remaining. How about the Ferraris? 23.6 for Charles Leclerc in the first sector. 23.7 in the first sector for Hamilton. So improvements for them, but how far off the pace potentially are they, as Piastri, yes, goes in just under a tenth behind his teammate there. It is currently 1-2 for the two McLarens, as we expect it will be come the end of Q3 as well, as Hamilton goes purple in the middle sector. Can he hook up that middle chicane? We will see, as Charles Leclerc slots in into P4, 4 tenths back, and a couple of tenths behind Max Verstappen, but Lewis Hamilton has just gone purple in the middle sector. Where has that come from for Lewis Hamilton? But can he hook up the last sector, which has been his downfall really in the laps we have seen thus far? He can indeed. A 21 flat. Still some improvement to be had there for him compared to his teammate who did a 20.9. But Hamilton slots into P4 and is just ahead of his teammate. That could be very dab handy for the two Ferraris, and particularly for Lewis Hamilton, as we know, has not had good qualifying form as of late. That could be a very good confidence booster for him. But Isaac, at a certain moment, it is currently Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Carlos Sainz, Gabriel Bortoleto and Pierre Gasly, who are in the drop zone. Fernando Alonso hasn't done a lap on a fresh set of tyres, though. Neither has Pierre Gasly. George Russell still yet to do a lap on a fresh set of tyres as well, as he is in P9. Alex Albon just ahead of Fernando Alonso in P10, but it's very close, very, very close. 7 tenths, just under 8 tenths really separating the top 10 at the moment. But yes, much better there from the Ferraris on a set of brand new tyres. It is Norris with a 108.8 at the moment. Two McLarens are the only drivers, the only cars to go sub 109s that we have seen this whole weekend, I believe, and for qualifying today in Q2. We have 5 minutes remaining. It is currently Norris first, Piastri second, Verstappen third, Hamilton fourth. Yes, Hamilton fourth, Leclerc fifth, Hadjar sixth, Antonelli seventh, Tsunoda is in eighth, Russell is ninth, Albon 10th, and in the drop zone at the moment, it is Alonso 11th, Lawson 12th, Sainz 13th, Bortoleto 14th, and Gasly 15th. But there are no doubt going to be improvements, as Verstappen was saying that was dangerous from one of the McLarens as they moved offline through down the right-hander of turn 7, as Carlos Sainz, just watching his replay as he hit the curb very hard on the exit of the last corner there. The Williams needing a good performance from them. They've been a bit off the boil as of late, as they're not really bringing that many updates now to the car. They front-loaded their updates. They've got a nice, decent lead in the constructors, but they are being pegged back by those chasing them, and we still have 10 races remaining, of course, in this season. That is, of course, concluding tomorrow. But yeah, Carlos Sainz needing a decent performance, really, a good Q3. He'd like to out-qualify his teammate, of course. I can't remember the last time he out-qualified his teammate. It's been quite a while. Which would I choose? Used tyres lasting 500 miles or fresh tyres lasting 1,000 miles? Hamilton looking quick. We'll see. We'll see. Don't speak too soon. Don't speak too soon. What's annoying? What sound is annoying? What keeps coming through? What sound? Please explain to me what sound. It should be, I think everything is okay though. What did I study at uni? I'm a quantity surveyor, so I studied quantity surveying, which I passed last year. Sainz having floor checks must have been the curbing. Yeah, it was quite a big, you saw it on the camera, there was a very big camera shake there from him striking that curb. And to be fair, the Williams have had this, haven't they? The Williams, the subscribers' race car notifications, I thought I'd turn that off. Apologies, guys. I thought I'm just going to turn the alert box off. Hopefully that doesn't come through anymore. Apologies. I thought that was turned off. So thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I can't remember my train of thought now, exactly what I was saying there. But for those wondering, Sector 1 is from the start till turn 6. Yep, Sector 2, yeah. So Sector 1 is all the way to turn 6. Sector 2 is all the way pretty much to turn 11. And then that's the last sector. But Williams, I was talking about Williams as Lando Norris starts his last lap here, is that they have had a couple of curb strikes this season where they have done damage to their floor. So they're clearly running that car very low at the moment, and well, it's coming to bite them. on their behind, because I think Red Bull Ring, they had curb strikes there and they had damage to the floor. I think there's been a couple other circuits as well. So the setup of that car is arguably too low for the Williams at the moment, but they're causing damage to their car. But I guess they have to run it low because they haven't got the performance compared to their teams. So welcome to the pit crew jingles, much appreciated, much appreciated. But thank you everyone for tuning in as always. Yes, we have over 4,000 of you here in this stream. It's good to be back after the summer break, and we'll be back in our usual setup tomorrow, as you can see from the TV camera, well, my camera. I am in a remote setup at the moment from a hotel room. So yes, let's see who's going to make it through into Q3 here. We have drivers on their laps at the moment. George Russell is the first of those, a 23.7 through the first sector, a 24.5 in the middle sector. It is green across the board for George Russell as it currently stands, as is to be expected on a brand new set of tyres. His first lap was on a used set of tyres. Let's see how he fares. Where can he qualify? And well, let's see how George Russell, who does look like he's the nearest competitor to the McLarens this weekend from what we've seen in practice, and well, he can only go P6. Not a good lap there for George Russell. He's actually behind that of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, as Lewis and Charles are back out there. That would have raised some eyebrows, as will Kimi Antonelli's time as well. And the Ferraris could maybe come in and not even use this set of tyres. Let's see what they decide to do. Carlos Sainz out there has gone green in the first sector though, a 23.693 from him. That's a very good first sector. He's quicker than the two Williams in that first sector. As we can see, Pierre Gasly has gone green in the first and second as well, but that first sector is over 24 seconds. That's not particularly quick for him. And I'll tell you what, Carlos Sainz is getting a bit of a move on, but has he maybe taken too much time or too much life out of those tyres in that first sector? As Pierre Gasly only moves into P10, as yes, Charles Leclerc does save that set of tyres. Good thinking there from Ferrari and Charles Leclerc, as Sainz moves up into P7 and splits the two Mercedes, as Lewis Hamilton is slowing down, and no doubt he will be letting Isaac Hadjar past and be diving into the pit lane. Lando Norris is not doing another lap either. Alex Albon doesn't look like he is improving. He is yellow in the first sector, yellow in the second, and Alex Albon is not going to improve. So Carlos Sainz has outqualified his teammate as Alex Albon comes across the start-finish line, and it is no good for Alex Albon. He is out here, so Carlos Sainz has outqualified his teammate, but can he make it through into Q3? Bortoletto has improved for the first sector, but he's a bit slower in the second. Liam Lawson, he's looking for a good performance here, as is Fernando Alonso. He is definitely at risk. So we've confirmed that we've lost Gasly and Albon. Tsunoda is at risk here as Bortoletto moves up into P11. That's a good qualifying from Bortoletto. It would have been in the tall order for him to get into Q3. Identical lap times between him and Yuki Tsunoda at the moment. He could have snuck potentially into Q3, but Lawson is improving. He's making his way through the chicane down into turn 13 now. A slight flick of the steering wheel to the right. It is, he's going to be getting a nice cheeky little toe here from Max Verstappen. How well is this going to help him, as he's got DRS open down across the start-finish line, and Lawson makes his way through into Q3. It's a double RB Q3. Can Fernando Alonso get through? He can! Antonelli is out of Q2. We've lost Antonelli, Yuki Tsunoda, Gabriel Bortoletto, Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, and Carlos Sainz has got through into Q3. A very good qualifying there from Carlos Sainz. A double RB qualification into Q3. Lawson maybe didn't even need, to be honest, that toe from Max Verstappen. Then it might actually have been a bit of a detriment to him, as his last sector was slower there. Still, of course, received the dirty air maybe through turn 13. Couldn't get on power as early as possible, but still a great lap time from him. And Isaac Hadjar, the RBs, out-qualifying Yuki Tsunoda in that Red Bull car once again. We have seen Fernando Alonso get through into Q3 as well. Well done from him. The Ferraris, they went out there on a brand new set of tyres, but Ferrari, they've got through into Q3 comfortably as well. Well done, Ferrari. Well done. Well done. I'm talking to you, Ferrari, like you're a small child that's achieved a massive accomplishment. Well done. Let's give you a lollipop. Oh dear, but Kimi Antonelli, yes, out there. Not entirely sure, of course, in relation to where he was put out on track and so forth. I'll have to do a lot of research tomorrow, guys, before the session begins. As Albon is fuming over the radio. Oh my God, you've got to be effing kidding me. Oh my God, no tyres at all. Why do we do it to ourselves? Alex Albon fuming over the radio. So Alex Albon, was he put out there too late? Was he put out there too late? Of course, these tyres, guys, they take a while to get, well, they're very sensitive. You have to have sufficient time to be able to get them in the right temperature window. And if the teams don't put them out on track at a sufficient position to ensure that they're able to prep those tyres correctly, then a car that can comfortably get into Q3 comfortably ends up missing out. So that's what Alex Albon has seen there. So, and that's a theory as to what I have of Ferrari, really, for the majority of times as well. So, yes, definitely Albon set a lap without tyres. Once again, Williams frustrating ad time in the garage. Yeah, it's definitely something that they need to improve on. And well, Carlos Sainz he did just about get through there. Very, very tight. Top 15 separated by less than 8 tenths of a second, as you can see there. And well, Kimi Antonelli only missed out by a few hundredths of a second. But Antonelli has struggled. I'm not making excuses for Antonelli, by the way. He has been struggling this weekend, as we have seen him in the gravel. We've seen him have quite a few moments and just on the poor lap times in general. So, yeah, but 2 tenths, he's not even 2 tenths behind his teammate, and he's 5 positions down. One's through into Q3 and one is out in Q2. So there we go, guys. An Italian team in Q3, but the birthday boy out in Q2. It's actually Bruce McLaren's birthday. I say birthday, it's obviously, yeah, when he was born. Obviously, he's no longer with us, Bruce McLaren. So the McLarens are looking to celebrate that today with a pole position or a front row lockout, which it looks like it's going to be, and it looks like it's going to be very close between the two McLarens. But you do have to say that Lando Norris has the advantage over Piastri. But Piastri, each session, has been getting closer and closer. But Q3, we know that's when these drivers are going to be on the actual limit. And, well, this is when they're going to be able to go as quick as possible because they'll have clean air as well for the most part. What do I think Zandvoort track looks like a Shanghai when tilted? It does, to be fair. Yeah, no, it does. Do I think Kimi will have a seat next season? It's confirmed. It's not confirmed yet, is it? No, they haven't even confirmed Russell's seat. Yes, he'll have a seat next season. They've put too much effort, too much resource, time and money into his development. This season, I think no one even had expectations of Mercedes this season, to be honest with you. We all had higher expectations of Ferrari and Red Bull than Mercedes. So for Kimi, it is a bedding in year for him. Get used to the whole F1 circus. It's a last year of a set of regs that they have absolutely been well off the boil with and well behind their competitors. So to expect Antonelli to do better than Russell and to beat their competitors consistently is, I think, would have been unreasonable. An unreasonable target, to be honest with you. So yeah, he'll be there for next season 100%, and he's still only 18, isn't he? Still very young. I'm not wearing the Ferrari shirt. No, I'm not. We don't talk about the Ferrari shirt now. Let's not talk about it now. So Q3 is just about to get underway, Ling. You are here at the right time, as are many of you. So big thank you as always. Please continue to hit the like and subscribe button. Hopefully that the sound is off and it's not working now. So yes, so you can focus on my dulcet tones and my commentary, guys, bringing it to you. So would I say that tyres are more important this year than ever before? They've always been important, but yes, for the last few seasons, they have been very sensitive. The drivers have made mention of that as well. Some of them haven't really been able to make heads or tails of how to get them into the right window. I do think this is one of the main reasons as to why Lewis Hamilton has been a poor qualifier in this regulation set, is that he just has not been able to get on top or understood. Even a driver of his experience, he has not been able to understand in how to prep these tyres for qualifying. And that's where it's always been his downfall, really, that I think, because you're more likely to make errors that way because you don't have the grip underneath you. And there's been instances where he's expected to have grip and he hasn't in qualifying, and that's because he hasn't had those tyres in the right window, hence the whole conspiracy theory of the tyre blankets not being up to temperature and so forth. No, it was just that he wasn't able to get those tyres in the right window. So, yeah. That's my personal opinion, that's my logic behind it. Good job, Ferrari. I'm genuinely sure you won't mess up in Q3. Don't say that. Don't say that. That would be great for Ferrari if they qualified 4th and 5th today. That would be, after what we've seen in practice from them this weekend. I said Q3 was an achievement for them. 4th and 5th would be a brilliant achievement for them. So let's see if they can do it. And, well, looking at the rest of the field, they've got a good opportunity to do so. But here we go. Q3. The showdown is on. The first run. Who is going to get pole position here? Who is going to have that advantage of heading down into T1 first? We've seen so often this season where whichever McLaren driver heads down into turn 1 first wins the race, more so than not. So, pole position, getting that advantage here is very, very important, with it not being that long of a particular run down into turn 1 either. So Piastri has the honours of going out first in this first attempt in Q3. Lando Norris not far behind him. George Russell following suit, as is Carlos Sainz. It's going to be very interesting who will line up behind him. Will Max Verstappen be able to get that Red Bull? Will Max Verstappen be able to spoil the party? Still not quite sure, to be honest, that anyone has an opportunity of competing with these McLarens here this weekend. But we will see. Never say never. Doesn't look like there's going to be any spanners thrown in the works here in relation to weather conditions, as we can see that the wind is still a southwesterly wind around 15 kilometers an hour, which has been pretty consistent with what we have seen throughout qualifying thus far. So no repeats, it seems, of Q3 in the Hungaroring, where we did see, of course, that change of direction of wind, which did make it very difficult for the McLarens and some other drivers, and ensured that Charles Leclerc had that opportunity of pole. But here we go, guys. Here we go. Oscar Piastri down into turn 1. Lewis Hamilton is waiting very patiently to ensure that Oscar Piastri can make his way through unaffected into that first sector. They are going to hit traffic, though, the two McLarens. They will have to be wary, as will the drivers letting these fast papaya cars through. But Oscar Piastri makes his way up through turn 5 and turn 6. The first sector line is about to be hit, and it's a 23.367 for Oscar Piastri. That's the fastest first sector we have seen this weekend thus far. Oscar Piastri on the limit in this McLaren. Does he have enough in those tyres, though, through that middle sector? Has he maybe gone too quickly in that first sector? Well, his teammate is only 0.02 of a second behind him. It's neck and neck between the two McLarens at the moment as Oscar Piastri makes his way down into the braking zone of turn 11. DRS open is a 24.476. A very quick middle sector for Oscar Piastri as well. Let's see how Lando Norris fares in comparison. But Piastri making his way into the fast right-hander of turn 13. It is full throttle for him. DRS open as he makes his way out of the banking of turn 14. Full throttle to the finish line, and it is a 108.662. But Lando Norris is going quicker. He's gone nearly a tenth quicker in that middle sector at 24.394. Let's see how he fares. Who's going to be on provisional pole? It's Piastri by 0.12 of a second. Oscar Piastri, 12 thousandths of a second. Super close between the two McLarens, but it is advantage Oscar Piastri in this first attempt in Q3. Small margins there. Big difference really in the last sector of 20.894 compared to Piastri's 28.19. So Lando Norris just losing a little bit of time. It's a fraction of a second of just maybe waiting to get down on throttle is all that it took. George Russell stops into P3, nearly 6 tenths behind here. The two McLarens on a fresh set of tyres. Fernando Alonso is coming across the line now and can go only into P4. And look how quick those two McLarens are. Max Verstappen is about to start his lap. We'll stay on board with him to see how he fares. Isaac Hadjar is on a used set of tyres, as is the other RB of Liam Lawson as well. The two Ferraris are going green in the first and second sector. No purples, understandably. But can they maybe lock out the second row here? The two Ferraris here this weekend. That'd be totally unexpected, as Charles Leclerc only goes P4. He's actually 2 tenths slower than that of George Russell. Not a good lap time there for the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. How about Lewis Hamilton? Is he going any quicker? He is, but by 100th of a second. The two Ferraris are 4th and 5th. They're 2 tenths behind that of George Russell. Let's keep an eye on Max Verstappen, shall we? No purple first sector from him, and he's actually nearly 3 tenths down on the McLarens in the first sector alone, Max Verstappen. The McLarens, when they are on it, they are super, super quick. But let's see how Verstappen fares. Can he comfortably maybe get into P3 and get in the way of those McLarens tomorrow, as he has done so often this season, even though he isn't in a car that can compete with them over a race distance, but it still provides us entertainment nonetheless. Can he do the same here at his home circuit? He wants to give his home fans at the Netherlands something to cheer about here this weekend. As he comes around the last corner, what can Max Verstappen do? Where is he going to go? Can he get ahead of George Russell in P3? He can comfortably. 109.048. The two McLarens are the only drivers sub 109, but that is a wide gap between the two McLarens in P1 and P2 to the rest of the field. Max Verstappen nearly 4 tenths slower round a track that is only 1 minute 9 seconds long, is nearly 4 tenths slower than that of the McLarens, with George Russell then a further 2 tenths back, with 0.593 behind that of Oscar Piastri. But wow. Yes, Liam Lawson yet to improve. Of course, Sainz, Alonso and Hadjar will all improve as well, because they will have a new set of tyres to go on to. Interestingly as well, the two Ferraris, they will have a brand new set. They were technically on a used set of tyres as well, as that tyre had done 1 lap, but it had only done 1 out lap, as they bowed out of that last run in Q2. So there is improvement still to be made by the two Ferraris as well. You Tifosi fans out there, you Hamilton and Leclerc fans, there is improvements for them. They will improve because they'll be putting on, no doubt, a new set of boots when it comes to to this last run in Q3. But at the top, for pole position, it is 0.012 between Piastri and Norris. 12 thousandths of a second. Unbelievably close, as we have seen so often this season between the two McLarens and the rest of the field. But fine margins is what is going to maybe potentially decide this championship this year, with only 9 points currently separating the two McLarens at the moment. Piastri is looking to extend that championship lead once again, and Lando is looking to close it down and maybe even take the championship lead if his teammate is unable to finish directly behind him. So many different permutations, but I think one thing is we definitely know for sure, a McLaren is going to be on pole position for tomorrow. No other excuses for Sainz this round. Please give him enough time. Yes, agreed. Yes, the Williams need to give him enough time to get those tyres in the right window. But yeah, Oscar Piastri was fastest in the first sector by a couple of hundred, by 100th of a second or 200ths of a second. Lando Norris was fastest in the second sector by quite a decent margin, to be fair. But the last sector, he just lost 800ths of a second, not even a tenth, 800ths of a second, which meant that he is currently in P2, just behind his teammate in P1. Who do I bet will be the fastest next season? No idea. Not going to comment on 2026 because how long's a piece of string, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm excited for 2026 though, because it could be the most chaotic season in F1 history, and I'm all here for it, guys. Hadjar the Quiet Assassin, yes. 4 to 10, way more exciting than 1 to 3. You think? Maybe. I don't know. I'm still excited by P1 and P2. But yes, welcome everyone. Hope you are enjoying the stream. If you are, over nearly 5,500 of you in the stream. If we could get this stream to 1,000 likes, much appreciated. We'll be here tomorrow, of course. And thank you for everyone who has joined as a member of the pit crew. I have no idea how many subs we currently are on, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who continues to sub. We'll be here tomorrow, an hour before the race begins, for our pre-race show. If you're new to this channel, what do? Well, we have a look at the strategy options. We have a look at the weather report, and we have a look at anything that really is going to be interesting and worthy of keeping an eye on for the race ahead of us. So yes, definitely be sure to tune in, and of course continue to join and chat in this great community that we have here. But now the roles are reversed, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 minutes remaining. Lando Norris is in P2, just behind his teammate Oscar Piastri, 12 thousandths of a second separating them. But Lando now has the honours of going first compared to Piastri going second. Let's see how that fares for them. Carlos Sainz comfortably out there. He has plenty of time now to get these tyres in the right window, as you can see, on a brand new set of tyres. Does Liam Lawson have a brand new set of tyres as well as Isaac Hadjar? I suspect they do. Yes, as we can see, they're indicated 0-0 next to the tyre history there indicates that is a brand new set of tyres for them. So it's all about getting these tyres in the right window. Hamilton and Leclerc also on a brand new set. Everyone here, I believe, will have a brand new set of tyres available to them. Even Fernando Alonso has a brand new set as well. So let's see what these drivers can do. But let's stay on board with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, shall we? They're the first two drivers out there in this last run in Q3, and well, they are fighting for pole position. The two championship contenders, Lando Norris leading, behind Oscar Piastri, not only in this, but in the championship standings as well, as he makes his way through turn 1, down into the fast right-hander of turn 2, and then into the banking of turn 3, as Fernando Alonso, no doubt, moves to the inside, as it's a very highly banked corner. The outside line is the slingshot line through there, gives you that additional speed, as Lando is slower through that first sector, a 23.439 for Lando. There's no improvement there. Is that because of maybe some dirty air from Fernando Alonso and catching a car at the wrong part of the circuit? We will see, as Liam Lawson moves out of the way and down into turn 10, as Piastri has gone even quicker through the first sector. He's put nearly a 10th on his teammate in that first sector, but of course he's improving on his own provisional pole time. But Lando's gone purple in the middle sector. It's all about the last. Can Lando Norris, 12 thousandths of a second currently separating the two McLarens, but will Piastri go even quicker in the middle sector? A flick of the wrist for Lando Norris through that right-hander, is it's only green for the middle sector of Oscar Piastri. It's foot to the floor to the finish line for Lando Norris. Can he get pole? No! It is pole position for Oscar Piastri, who is coming around the last corner now. He doesn't even need to improve as he comes across the finish line. Will he be able to improve on his lap time anyway? No, he will not. No improvement from either McLaren in the last run, and Piastri is on pole position for tomorrow. But who's going to line up behind them? Who's going to be on the second row? Carlos Sainz moves up into P5. The two Ferraris are improving, although there's a slow middle sector there for Charles Leclerc, maybe getting held up by Max Verstappen in the middle sector as he's starting his last flying lap and will get a cheeky toe from Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton's gone green in the middle sector. Can he get on the second row, as Charles can only get 5th? He'll be starting on the third row at best tomorrow. A 109.3 from him. Verstappen starts his lap as he makes his way through turn 1, but Lewis Hamilton, green in the first, green in the second, checkered flag, he only goes P6. Oh, poor lap there from Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, the two Ferraris. 5th and 6th for best for them. Hadjar's improving, Alonso's improving, Lawson is improving. Could the RBs qualify ahead of the Ferraris? Let's see. Liam Lawson across the finish line. Where does he go? Currently P10, P7. Half a 10th back from Lewis Hamilton. Very close to separating the two Ferraris. His teammate, though, makes his way through the chicane. Let's see how he fares. And Fernando Alonso only goes P9. P9 at best for Alonso, but Hadjar is improving and considerably quicker than that of Fernando Alonso. And guess who's gone fastest out of anyone in the middle sector? It's Max Verstappen. But that first sector, guys, is 3/10 slower than that of the McLarens, as Hadjar goes 4th. Hadjar has just gone into 4th. He's ahead of the Mercedes. He's ahead of the Ferraris. His teammate, Sainz and Alonso. What a lap. Verstappen improves, a 108.925. But it is Oscar Piastri on pole position for tomorrow. 12 thousandths of a second over his teammate Lando Norris. Neither McLaren able to improve in their second attempt here at the Dutch Grand Prix in Q3. Very, very close. And once again, while Lando Norris has showcased he is the quicker driver, arguably, throughout the most of this weekend, the one session that matters, Q3, Oscar Piastri gets it done. of course, it's going to be very intriguing tomorrow in this race. The two McLarens are comfortably quicker than everyone else. We've seen them fight it out multiple times this season already. Hopefully tomorrow is a repeat of that. Max Verstappen in P3. He's able to give his home fans something to cheer about. It's going to be a tough race for him tomorrow in that Red Bull, which is struggling on its tyre management, but still, when it matters, Max Verstappen digs deep and he gets a much better performance out of that Red Bull here this weekend than he did before the summer break at the Hungaroring. Isaac Hadjar. Round of applause in the chat, ladies, everyone. Round of applause for Isaac Hadjar, a P4. Now, Isaac Hadjar as well has been overshadowed a little bit by his teammate Liam Lawson in the last few races. And, well, what a response from him there. A P4 from him. He's ahead of a George Russell, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, who are in 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. Wow. Starting on the second row, Isaac Hadjar has a great opportunity to score decent haul of points tomorrow. Liam Lawson is in P8 as well. Still, great performances from the RBs to get it into Q3, and great to see both those drivers performing. Carlos Sainz in P9. Could have done better. But that Williams still good from him, a confidence booster likewise to qualify into Q3. Fernando Alonso P10, expected more from the Aston Martins, but still, when his teammates starting dead last tomorrow, not good. Kimi Antonelli is P11, Yuki Tsunoda starts 12th, Bortoletto starts 13th, Gasly is 14th, Alex Albon 15th, Colapinto 16th, Hulkenberg 17th, Ocon 18th, Behrman 19th, and Lance Stroll 20th. And that is your Dutch Grand Prix grid for tomorrow. Provisionally, I don't believe there's going to be any penalties. No one's done anything untoward unless there's maybe some... There is investigations you can see there of the maximum delta time. That is never really penalised unless it's massively abused, which it doesn't seem to be like anyone has done here. That's always a usual investigation for qualifying. And I don't believe, unless anyone decides to maybe make some setup changes, make an engine change or something, we will see. But yes, what an interesting race we have in store for us tomorrow. What is the weather report for tomorrow? Is it a wet race tomorrow? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Ooh, it could be wet in the morning. It's currently showcasing that the weather report tomorrow is 60 to 70% chance until 11 o'clock, really. So if that moves back in the day, we could get a wet race tomorrow. We could very much well get a wet race tomorrow. But wow, what a qualifying, guys. Close again. So close again. Ferrari never failed to disappoint you. I still think this is an achievement for them. Sounds crazy, but for them to be in Q3, considering they were in practice terrible, absolutely terrible. I mean, if it's dry conditions tomorrow, I think you could genuinely see the McLarens lap, I think, 3/4 of the field. I really do. I think it's going to be, like, and if it's dry conditions, they're going to be so quick. So quick. So, yeah. What happened to Stroll? Stroll crashed again. Down into turn 13. Yes, he got through the chicane safely, and then he dipped his wheels on the grass, on the outside, by the way, on the straight, on the entry to turn 13, and sent his car into a spin, and he lost half of his front wing, and they didn't send him back out there. So they've either got not enough front wings left because he crashed yesterday, or there was still significant damage to that car, which meant he couldn't go back out there. So, but my pleasure, Murray. Much appreciate it, guys. If you've enjoyed this stream, I'm so happy this has gone off without a hitch, by the way. I'm so happy this has gone well, and we've been able to have a decent stream. Was the stream quality good, by the way, guys? Was everything okay? Seems like it. I didn't have any, of course, other than the alert sound. I'm sorry that was on. I meant to have the alert on without the sound, because obviously it takes away from the commentary and stuff. But yeah, I'm so happy that everything went well without a hitch. It shows that you don't need a lot of download speed or upload speed to do these watchalongs, eh? According to your weather app, there might be some slight rain at 3 p.m. as well in the morning until 7 a.m. Interesting, Dodo. Yeah, the report I just looked at showcased for the hours of the race there wasn't going to be any rain, but the morning is definitely going to rain. So we'll see. But we know the weather can be pushed out. We've seen that before, where it looks like it's going to rain all weekends on the race, on like all lead up to the race. The weather says it's going to rain on the race, and then it gets pushed out, and it only rains after the race. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Stream was fine. Thank you much. Just fine, Anne. It was just fine. But no, cheers, guys. Nearly 1,000 likes, by the way. Thank you, thank you. If it's the wet race, it will be more challenging and interesting to see because it's Zandvoort. I agree. Although it's going to be an intriguing one. I do hope it is a 2-stop race. I mean, look, we're probably going to see again tomorrow. If it's a dry race, we're going to see again the strategies play out, unless there's safety cars and so forth. But we're going to see what happened, similar to what happened at Hungary. Except, let's say the two McLarens get off into the distance and they lead down into turn 1. The two McLarens, whoever, I would be very surprised to see Oscar Piastri go for a 2-stop tomorrow. I think he'll try. He would have learnt from what happened at Hungary, and he'll be like, track position's everything. Like, I'm in the championship lead. Lando needs to overtake me. I'm not giving up points for sure. And I think that's we're going to see that convergence on track again tomorrow. I think if it's dry throughout, where Lando's on the more, whatever it is, whether it's a 2 or a 3 stop, he's going to be on that extra stop to go on the aggressive nature. As we mentioned, the pit stop lost time here isn't that big, just because it's a short pit lane anyway, and they've increased the pit stop speed, or the pit lane speed, from 60 to 80 kilometers an hour. So that's a big difference. Less time spent in the pit lane. So yeah, more time spent out on track, and that's what they want. So yes, we could see a very aggressive race tomorrow from drivers and teams. And really, McLaren is the only team that can actually manage their tyres. Everyone else is going to be committed to a 2-stop. So for sure. You were great. It was fine. Thanks, Anne. What does it mean when they say when it says stop to next to their name? It means that they've stopped. So they're either stopped out on track or they've like stopped in the pit lane, to be honest with you. So normally if they've stopped out on track, it will say stop. You don't have to pay too much attention to it now because, of course, they've just parked their cars up because they're now in Parc Fermé. So who starts out of position and who could cause chaos on lap 1? I don't think, I mean, Hadjar is starting out of position, but we know that RB is not a slow car. I don't know. I mean, is there anyone who's going to be super aggressive tomorrow? Alex Albon might be aggressive tomorrow, starting down in 15th. I don't know. It's an intrigue. There's always some form of car contact through the first couple of corners, to be honest with you. These cars are very big. Turn 1 in particular is very unique because it allows you to go 3 wide, sometimes even 4 wide through that corner, and then it really narrows. So, Jarvis, thank you for the gifted, by the way. Another gift. You've given 6 gifted today. Thank you. Much appreciated. So, yeah, we always see contact, someone lose a front wing end plate or something through turn 1. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be intriguing, so... My pleasure, John. My pleasure. Who's going to win tomorrow, according to me? Whoever leads into turn 1. I hate to say it, but I think whoever leads into turn 1 tomorrow wins the race. Because I think they do the 1-stop. And I think we know how much of an advantage you need on the tyres to be able to overtake, especially a car that is the same car as yours, as we saw from Piastri in Hungary. You need 7 tenths advantage. Now, that's not... I'm not going to say it's not doable. It's more doable here because for the reasons I just mentioned. Because they've gone a step softer this year. Because the pit lane lost time is not as severe. We could see that Lando comes in and let's say Piastri gets ahead and Lando is second. Lando comes in and pits for the 2-stop, and by the time he then catches back up to Oscar Piastri, he then has still enough left in his tyres. He still has enough of that advantage to get past Piastri. That's the problem that you have, is that in clean air, you may be 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds quicker even. But by the time you get to the car you want to overtake, do you have enough of an advantage, that 7 tenths to a second advantage in your tyres remaining to get past them? If the answer's no, then we see like we saw at Hungary, and you see like a desperate attempt like Oscar did, sending it, trying to force Lando out of position. That's like your only real hope. Clean air is king. Exactly, Warren. Exactly. So, what should have Red Bull done to make Max get pole? Go and pull out a wheel nut of the McLarens before they went out on track. That's the only way they were getting pole position for Max. That Red Bull was just, not quick enough. So Max will only win if the McLarens collide and take each other out of the race. So that's just my personal opinion, guy. I say it's my personal opinion. That's my opinion based on the logic of what I'm witnessing from that Red Bull at the moment. It's just not got... It's just not a car that is suitable to compete with the McLarens. You've heard Max say that. It's not good enough on its tyres over a race distance. You can paper over the cracks over a single lap with a car, but you get caught out in the race. And that's what Red Bull have done for the majority of this year. I've said before, it's no surprise, as you've seen, the tracks which Max has won at this year or done very well at, there's been very low degradation, if not no degradation on the tyres. So that's where Max is able to utilise his talent, and that advantage that McLaren has is nullified. Whereas as soon as you have any sort of tyre management that is required, the McLaren is just so far ahead. So, hey Jackie, you thought the damn quali was due to start at 3 p.m. What an idiot. And how the heck is Ferrari getting into Q3? They were crap during free practice. I know. Good to see you, by the way, though. Still caught us just. Pit is short, but lap is short too, so you still lose a lot of time as a percentage of the lap. That's true, guy. That's to be fair, yeah, you're right there. I didn't. Simple maths. I messed that up. We'll have a look tomorrow, though. Regardless, as always, guys, tune into... I'm about to end the stream, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We, of course, have the stream starting an hour before the race starts tomorrow, so I'll be live at 1 p.m. UK time. Race starts at 2 p.m. UK time, so check, obviously, your local time zones for that. But if you don't want to miss a stream tomorrow, hit that bell button. Turn that notification on, and you'll be notified half an hour before the stream goes live. And we'll have a look at, of course, the pit stop loss time, the safety car, the safety car percentage that we've had here. We've had quite a few safety cars at Zandvoort. The tyres, of course, who has what tyres available. Strategy is going to be key tomorrow. It's going to be very key tomorrow, and we need to know. I have no idea, because I haven't seen practice. I generally have no idea what tyres drivers have used for this weekend, so that could play a big factor into the strategies on the table for drivers tomorrow, and that could be an important factor. It will be an important factor for the race tomorrow. And then, of course, the weather conditions is the big one. We need to check that weather report tomorrow and see whether we're going to have a wet race or not. So yes, but anyway, guys, thank you as always for tuning in. Over 5,000 viewers again from a hotel room is absolutely brilliant. Apologies I couldn't make the practice sessions, but we made the all-important ones, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And we'll be back, yes, tomorrow for the race at the normal setup, the sim rig. Please hit that like button. Let's get your stream to 1,000 likes, and continue to hit that subscribe button. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday, and I will catch you tomorrow afternoon. Thanks, guys. Bye.